So it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Do not do this at home.
Fajitos. Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name's Nico. I go by CoinTrick Online, and we're gonna be here on camera in just a second. We have a hot mic, but you guys can listen to the music and the theme song in the meantime.
Don't worry, we're here. Might as well make it creepy at the outset, get it out the way.
Should I try and live stream to TikTok at the same? Normally I go live on TikTok first, and that's always a little bit awkward because they can hear us when no one else can.
Maybe not then.
Okay, that's good to me.
Yeah.
Kirasar, what is up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate it. Loved your TikToks during COVID lockdown. First stream. Oh, thank you for tuning in.
Appreciate you.
I have only good news. Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Nico. I am the face of CoinTrick, and this is my friend Dylan. Hi. Hey, we're actually both on camera one.
Hey guys.
For once.
Hey guys.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. That's crotch cam. Today, our original plan was to begin the grain extraction. But I've been super duper busy and I haven't gotten everything prepared. But I did have everything ready and sanitized before you got here. But I was like, I have an hour to kill. I could either start like cooking up all the water and everything that we need, or I could just say, screw it. We'll just talk about it and explain how grain extraction works during the live stream while we get lit. As we do, as one is tend to do.
That's what we do on this stream, more often than not.
So, I'm gonna treat Dylan to some fajitos.
Ooh.
This is peppermint tea, actually, with some lime peels in it. And this is how we're gonna fake the mint leaf effect. There's some salt in there also, tiny dash of salt to kill some of the bitterness in there.
Is it a fajito because it's missing the alcohol or the other staple ingredients?
Oh, it's missing other staple ingredients. There's no mint leaves. The only thing that this will have in common with a mojito will be rum.
I'm cool.
Sold.
Cool.
There we go.
That's cool. Listen, I'm a simple man. I'm not
Dylan's picky. Like, dude, lead with that.
Yeah. If it has alcohol in it, it's fine. It's cool. Even if it didn't have alcohol in it, I would still have it happily accepted. Oh yeah, nice and juicy.
Nice and juicy, like. All right, let's see how much we actually got here. Not a whole lot. I require more. But yeah, the Uber Beer project is chugging along, which is nice.
Und Uber Bier?
Die Uber Beer.
Die Uber Bier? What does und mean?
Und doesn't, I don't think, mean anything, because it sounds like UNT to me.
Anytime I'm doing attempting to do a German accent, that's kind of my go-to. And I don't really even know what und. I have no idea where I got that from.
Maybe und is
that's
the German word for and.
That makes sense. Yeah. Und.
There we go.
Und Uber Bier?
Ein Uber Bier. That means a Uber Beer.
Yeah, you are. An Uber Beer. You are that. What's this?
Rich simple syrup. Less water, more sugar. Just means I don't have to measure out as much whenever I make these.
Works for me.
Now grab me the rum, Kronk. Top left. And the gin.
Which one?
No. Nope, beefier. Pull the lever, Kronk. Pull the lever!
It's a great movie.
Fair warning, the last time I made these, I got really lit on stream, so,
Hey dog, it's cool. It's a Tuesday night, tomorrow's 420. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Why not? I don't care.
That's fair.
We've known each other a long time, and my my body's ability to metabolize toxins should not be underestimated at this point in our relationship.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to say, don't do as we do. We should really make that just
We should probably say
a
that.
blanket warning before we do any of the live streams.
We should toss that in a little bit more often than we do.
We first of all, I get paid to do this. Hannah says shots. Okay, we can do a shot before we do this. But I get paid to do this stuff. And I plan to drink on stream. So because of that, I space things out. It may seem like I drink a lot here when I'm on camera, but I'm not ripping alcohol like that all day, every day. I feel like that's a disclaimer that I should put out there, because I'm sure there are kids who are kids. I'm sure there are like teenagers or whatever, or even people who can drink, people who are like maybe 21 to 25 who watch this and they're like, oh man, I could do that. Don't.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why bother?
Yeah. Yeah. Do not do as we do. Test your own limits. Test your own waters. See what they are.
All right, Dylan, what are we gonna take a shot of? The choice is yours. Choose wisely.
What do we want? I think I'm going to be a hard pass in the absent this week. Well, at least for now. Let's do some ice. Hannah, what do we take shots of? Also, hello. What do we take shots of? Let me know. Here's our best selection.
Hannah's gonna make you take shots of something weird, I guarantee you. Like Chinar. Take shots of Chinar.
This would be your TikTok handle if you were from Louisiana.
Cointreau?
Yes.
I did think about that. Cointreau.
What's Hannah say? Hey.
Your choice.
Oh, well, alright.
Lame. I don't want to have to make decisions.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm at with it. Maybe we could polish off the rest of this Tito's unless you want to do something else.
Yeah, we could take a shot of that. Vodka is widely, like, the easiest thing to take shots of.
Get you drunk.
I like to get drunk. It's one of my favorite cuts in that whole video.
I mean,
That was one of those ones where I was like, should I leave that in there? Does he want that in there?
I'm glad you did. I don't care. I know who I am.
Alright. Cut number 1. Raise them if you got them. You don't have to have a glass, and if you do have a glass, you don't have to have alcohol in it, but thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. I do appreciate it. Here's to you guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh. These are divine. That pour though. That drip.
Camera 2. There we go, yeah. Watch the fizzy bubbly.
Sing, drink me.
Have you seen Don't Mess with the Zohan?
Of course.
Fizzy bubbly.
Adam, I'm really just on the fence about Adam Sandler movies these days. I mean, they were much more enjoyable when I was younger, I guess. They're like, I guess some of his movies are like those guilty pleasure movies. Like, I know how goddamn dumb a lot of them are.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy them. Like the Austin Power movies. Probably some of the dumbest movies there are, but I really thoroughly enjoy them.
It's just one of those that, like, maybe you'd be embarrassed to be like, you know what we could watch, guys? Everybody? Let's watch an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever see Uncut Gems?
No, actually, the only way that I'm even aware of Uncut Gems is this stupid fucking interview soundbite that went viral, where someone's asking some woman, who I'm sure is a fine lady, but the way that she answers the question is phrased something like, do you believe in muses, or what's a muse? And then she goes, I mean, I was Ryan Safdie's muse for Uncut Gems. And the way that she says it is like if you were to try and speak with your jaw locked open. Uncut Gems. I mean, I was Ryan Safdie's muse for Uncut Gems. It's like that. She doesn't have that speech impediment that I'm affecting onto what I'm saying. But it's a very weird soundbite. It's a very odd accent.
Ugh. Unless you enjoy getting pissed off at movies, don't watch it.
Fair.
The end of it would thoroughly piss you off.
Who are the rest of the actors? I have no idea what Uncut Gems is or who's in it.
Lakeith Stanfield. I always get is it Granfield or Stanfield? Someone correct me. He's a great actor though. Lakeith Stanfield or Granfield. That's the only other person of name that I can think of off the top of my head.
That's not necessarily a good sign.
Well, it is an Adam Sandler. Just saying. It's markedly different from all of his other films. Vastly so. However, the end is extremely aggravating. You looking it up?
It is a 2019 crime dark comedy.
Sure is.
I guess Julia Fox is the woman in the
What's his name?
in the interview. Adam Sandler.
Stanfield, that's what it is. He's a great actor. Have you seen Sorry to Bother You? Stars him. So good.
Oh, Uncut Gems.
Ugh.
That's the way she says it, which is great. Let's see if it'll play it. Whoa. Loading ad. Lame.
Come on now.
Right. Do you know what I mean? Like things like that.
Uncut Gems.
Like,
Why'd you say it like that?
Make it seem a little more dramatic. Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like things.
Ew. Gross.
It's like when you're buffering in the middle of a sentence. Uncut Gems.
Yeah. It's like when you start talking and you just kind of lose the reins on where your sentence was going. You ever do that? You ever just walk your way into a sentence and don't know how you got there?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing about me to interview me, by the way. Fun fact, everyone. I'll begin answering your question. I'm long-winded in interviews by nature. So someone will ask me something really simple and I'll go on for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, my brain's like, dude, how did we get here? And I'm still talking. So in my head, I'm like, oh shit, how do we get back to what was the original question? How did we get here? And I've just gotten comfortable with just going wherever stream of consciousness takes me, and then going, yeah. Well, I hope that answers your question. As if I knew what they were asking me the whole time. And most people are like, yeah, I think that's good. I think we can use that. Is the most polite thing that someone has told me. I think we can use that.
Yeah, dog. Sometimes you just got a raw dog syntax. You know what I'm saying?
Have you tried your fojito?
Yeah, it's delicious. It's very good. This is one of those drinks I could kill about
Decent.
all of them. Yeah.
I spiked it with a little bit of strawberry soju. So that's where that extra candy sweetness is coming from. I actually kind of like it.
I like sweet shit. I know people hate on sweet or foo-foo drinks, as they say. I like them.
Frou-frou drinks.
Frou-frou or foo-foo?
I've always heard frou-frou.
I thought it was foo-foo. I don't know why.
Chat, correct us.
Is it frou-frou or foo-foo? Or neither of those?
Poo-poo-doo-doo caca.
Stinky, stinky, cocky, dookie.
We're 30-year-old men.
We are adults. We have responsibilities. We do things.
We have a child together.
Yes, we do. And what's their name again?
I mean, I actually have a child, so I don't want to make a joke and then someone's like, hold on, wait a second, that's not your kid's name.
But that's not.
I don't know why John Mulaney specifically is upset by this, but... Hold on, wait a second.
Not bad.
You have a kid, that's not their name.
It's pretty good. Hello. What's up?
Nick Ashwolf, welcome, thank you for tuning in on Twitch, I appreciate it. How's it going?
Came in almost thinking we were on the stream with John Luke. Sorry, you got me.
Yes, John Luke absorbed his hair follicles and became Dylan.
Right.
Something like that, probably, maybe.
John Luke had to eat several people to metamorph into this not Adonis-like figure you see in front of the camera before you right now. You know what I'm saying? See, that's one of those things where you just wander into a sentence and just kind of...
John Luke is the king of doing that. John Luke will begin a metaphor without any idea where it's going, yeah.
Oh my god.
And he'll just string metaphors together, constantly. Like, if you weren't paying attention, he would sound like a philosopher. And when you are paying attention, he's still pretty profound when he means to be. But when he's not paying attention, he just kind of like rambles. It's some of the best stuff I think I've ever heard. I'm comedically, obviously, but sometimes John Luke has some uncut jams.
Uncut jams.
Uncut jams.
Uncut jams.
Yeah, Uncle Jams.
Uncle Jams. Was that a My Hero reference? Sure wasn't. Not for me. I don't know what that is.
My Hero Academia is an anime.
I definitely wouldn't know what that is then. Sorry. I can't get on the anime bandwagon.
Dylan's like, I don't watch TV, I make TV.
Goddamn right. I've tried very hard to get into anime. I just can't do it. The deepest I've gotten into it, like most Americans, would be Pokemon DBZ.
I'm gonna look up the distance between 2 points, and that will inform this question that I'm about to ask you.
Alright.
Damn it, hold on. Oh, there we go. I couldn't find anything here. Alright, now.
I'm really intrigued to know what this question's going to be.
So, you've never been to Muscle Beach, correct?
Sure haven't.
Okay, I have. But I would really like for you to go there.
I would too.
TwitchCon is in San Diego this year, which is... I looked up the Anaheim Convention Center, not the San Diego Convention Center. San Diego's probably a bit further away. But it is in... It's probably much further south. Oh, it can't be that much further south.
Wait, is Muscle Beach like part of San Diego or LA or Anaheim?
It's in Venice Beach.
Which is near LA, right?
Yes.
I should know this.
Venice Beach to San Diego is 3 hours. I've made longer drives in California before, both ways in the same day. I drove 5 hours from San Francisco to Anaheim and back the same day.
God damn. Wait, 10 hours of driving in a day? God damn. Why'd you do that?
Well, the roads are different. But also, I have a good friend in California. I only really ever get to see him if I'm going out there for TwitchCon. So I was like, hey, where are you? And he was like, dude, I'm at the Blizzard Convention Center for, like, World of Warcraft and Overwatch League and stuff like that. And I was like, cool, where is that? And he's like, it's in Anaheim. And I was like, alright, bet. And so I just drove, because I had nothing to do that day. Normally, whenever I go to TwitchCon, by the way, or any kind of convention, I book, like, a buffer of 3 or 4 days to just explore the town, so that I don't feel like I'm missing out on the town by attending the convention.
Good move.
MX Raindrop, welcome, thank you for tuning in on Twitch, I appreciate it. Hi, hello!
Hi.
So, I don't know, I feel like it'd be fun to try and go to TwitchCon to together and also take you to Venice Beach and also make content out of the entire thing.
I'll be the smallest dude out there. Easily.
I just hit.
When is that?
July, I think it, hold on. No, it's October 7th through the 9th.
Fuck with your boy, I can make that happen probably. I don't see why I couldn't.
There's that, there's a couple other conventions that I want to attend this year, but TwitchCon is probably the most, I don't know, I just see a lot of content at TwitchCon. Oh, yeah. The other two are VidCon and Tales of the Cocktail. They're three very different spaces with different people. VidCon is being put on by TikTok this year, so it's huge emphasis on TikTokers, so I really want to go there for networking purposes, and I've never been to a TikTok convention, I guess you could say. So I probably run into a lot of my mutuals that I haven't actually met in real life before. And then the other one is Tales of the Cocktail, which is a bartending service industry and mixology convention that happens in New Orleans. It is probably the biggest one in the world, but it is definitely the biggest one in this hemisphere.
That'll be fun.
A Bluetooth keyboard looks like a typewriter and sounds like a typewriter, but it has RBG lights.
Roy B. Jiv.
Or RGB lights. Yeah. Yes. Roy B. Jiv.
Lights and bunch of different light modes. Oh, I finished your sentence. Oh, well, not really my sentence. It was...
You finished his sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wrote it, I started it, he finished it.
Yeah.
So.
Team. We're a team, guys.
Matthew and Grovel, by the way, thank you for the new follow. I do appreciate it. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch.
Appreciate you. What was I gonna say? I'd like to go to New Orleans too. It seems like a very strange city. Which is why I want to go.
I spoke with my agent today. We met up on. She's great, by the way. Her name's Claire Kaido. She put together like a pitch. Well, it's called a pitch deck, but I don't know if that's always going to make sense to people. But it's kind of like a slideshow. But it's a template for reaching out to different brands. So I said last week, why don't we take this next week? You think of some brands we could reach out to. I'll think of some brands we could reach out to. I have 3 large projects all looming at the same time. We've got the Uber Beer project, which I'm partnered with. I'm partnered on that with Dylan. That's all of the beer stuff that we're working on. There's a D&D podcast that I have coming up off the ground. I'm a cast member, though. I'm not the DM. It's not going to be live here. And then there's... I'm making drinks for I'm making drinks for the Washington Justice for the launch of Overwatch 2 and the Overwatch 2 beta, which is happening relatively soon. So I was like, hey, we have these 3 really big projects happening right now. Let's think of some people that we could reach out to. And today I added onto that, like, here are 3 events that I want to attend this year. Let's see who we can reach out to and what kind of deals we can work out to get me there, I guess.
Were those 3 you just brought up?
Mm-hmm. But if I could pick one, it'd be kind of difficult. I think I'd still pick TwitchCon because I've been to TwitchCon before. And I think the people that I would want to see at VidCon will end up at TwitchCon as well. Most of the people that I'm mutuals with on TikTok and I speak to or comment with regularly at all, they typically have Twitch live streams as well.
Might be the move. I'll be there.
It's also further along, it's like further down the road, so it's a little bit easier for everyone to like plan around like getting me there. Another event that it wasn't on this list, but I'm probably going to be there, is the City Open tournament again this year, the tennis tournament. I'll probably be there by nature of, that I've been there before, and also the companies that I work with, many of them are involved in that too, so I'm probably going to end up there again this year.
This will be your 3rd year doing it, yeah?
2nd year doing the City Open, yeah. Oh. But I'm excited. I had a blast last year.
Hell yeah, do it. I mean, I'll go to that too. It's, you'll hardly notice me. It's whatever.
It's a 6-hour drive from here.
That's fine.
But you can go with Hannah. She drove up there last year.
That's cool. I'll drive up to Baltimore pretty regularly. I'm cool with that drive. Just saying.
Oh my god. Rosalie would love. She loved tennis. She's the kind of baby that just like when she sees movement, she's like, "That's my shit. I don't even know what I just saw."
I like that shit.
That was a shape, like going really fast, and it was a bright color. And it's like, that's a tennis ball, baby. So it got really distracting though, because the City Open is like a relatively serious tournament, and I think we were watching Rafael Nadal play against the like 4th seed in the tournament, I think. And so when they're actually hitting the ball, everyone is dead quiet, and you just hear like a Zelda game, basically. Like they're trying to break pots in the shop, and then you would just randomly hear Rosalie go, like a gremlin over in behind everybody, screaming randomly. And so we were told a handful of times by the other people watching, like, "Hey, can you tell your baby to be quiet?" And she wasn't even a year old yet, so we were like,
"Nope,
no,
sure can."
What? That's not how this works. And that would be the beginning of August, I think, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
I'm down.
And then we could go see Derek, because it's in DC.
Yeah, it's a 45-minute drive, if that. Baltimore. You ever been to Baltimore?
Yeah, we went to Baltimore last time I was there with Rosalie.
Interesting.
At 10 p.m. we went to a
interesting
very
town.
packed bar.
It's an interesting town. It's weird. Every time I've ever been there, I meet just so many characters. Like, it's different. In a good way. I mean that in a good way. If anyone's from Baltimore, I love it. But it's very different.
Introduce Derek to my friend Justin up there. You guys watching, some of you may know Justin. He goes by Cookum on TikTok. He lives up in Baltimore. Yeah, we went to go visit him, actually, specifically the last time that we were there, because he works between like 3 different bars, maybe more now. But I was like, "Hey, what bar are you working at?" And he was like, "Well, I'm here, but like I'm gonna be here till super late." It was actually an hour and a half drive to get there from our hotel. So I was like, "Oh, but like, let's do it. Let's try and make the effort to go see him, because otherwise, like, we're an hour and a half away from him now. We're normally almost 8 hours away from him."
Yeah.
So we decided, okay, we're gonna get there super late, and we were actually there at the bar until like 2 a.m. And I'm not particularly proud of this, but I don't remember the entire night. I do vividly remember Rosalie dancing on a table.
Hell yeah.
And everyone just like gassing her up. Like, everyone was so stoked that there was just this like
A baby in a bar.
hyped up baby just like dancing with everyone, and oh man,
Good times.
that's what ladies want. They want you to bring your baby to the bar. That's what we learned.
Yes, they do. So I'm told. I ain't got no babies.
That I know. Not yet.
That too.
The return handle changes the light modes, and the door and the knob
Are we talking
on
about
the right adjusts the volume.
Are we talking about keyboards or lightsabers? What? You know what I'm saying? I think you could very easily be talking about a lightsaber.
I think it's a keyboard that has like a scroll wheel on the right side, because my keyboard at the gaming studio has that adjusts the volume with like a rolling thing that's on the side of it.
Oh, it's like built into it?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know that was
The more you know. I do really want to build a new computer, though. I keep thinking about it. I have a few opportunities where I might be able to work with people to help me build a computer, so I don't want to just jump on it on my own and then have them all be like, I don't know why they sound like Jerry Seinfeld in that situation. Sir Whisper, welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. My Bluetooth keyboard that looks like a typewriter.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
You actually did mention that. Sorry.
RGB, just like ye old typewriters.
Roy G. Biv. Roy B. Jiv.
Historically accurate.
Hello. Hello there. That was a horrible accent.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, so I'm in this D&D podcast that's getting off the ground soon, we've been like, I've had I think 3 different meetings with the cast and the DM and stuff of the podcast. We've been getting everything together and getting ready for several months now. I think over half a year now. We've been talking about everything and getting everything ready ahead of time. Can you do a German accent?
Not a good one.
I don't think I can either, and I am terrified because that is the accent that I've decided to go with for my character. He's going to be a very soft-spoken combat medic, without getting too into what he does.
Trying to picture what that would sound like.
I feel like there would be a scene where someone's character might be like dying in game, and then my character would run over and be like, "Okay, listen, breathe with me really quickly. I'm going to count backwards from 3, so it's going to be like 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to fix you. Yeah, no pain. You won't feel a thing. Okay, I promise. Okay, 3, and then I just do it immediately. That's what I would do in game."
Yeah, that was better than I could have done.
I feel like in my head that's not a German accent. It's what I think a German accent sounds like, but it's like a Belgian intonation. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't visit my family when I was up there.
Yeah, it's
they have a cadence to speaking that is like it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Do you think about accents that way? About like how rhythmically certain people speak?
Yeah, I guess sometimes. Well, now that you say that, yeah, it's not something I guess think of a lot, but yeah, it's it's not just another language thing. I mean, definitely, depending where you are, where you're from in this country, there's definitely a lot of that too. You know, just speaking with different patterns or weird intonations or weird pauses or shit like that.
Hyped for the D&D stream. So will it be on this account or a separate one? It's going to be on a separate account. It's going to be on twitch.tv/5%chance. And that's all typed out. Not the number 5 with a % sign. It's FIVEPERCENT chance. It's going to be live streamed over there.
I won't be there, but hey, try and have fun anyways, viewers.
Dylan and I have played D&D together.
Sure have. The only times I've actually ever played D&D.
Twice, I think.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah. One-shots. I recorded a short announcement for the podcast before this live stream, and that was one of the things I was talking about, was like, I've done a lot of one-shots for my friends. Which brings me on to another topic. Segue gently out of D&D for a minute. Or the entire live stream. The intro that I did with you, that like weird faux interview, actually came out really, really well.
It was great.
I knew it was going to come out well, because I was directing.
Facts.
But I'm not used to actually being able to tell the person in front of the camera, because normally it's me, like, hey, like, do this again this way or whatever, or change your wording a little bit or whatever. I don't remember exactly what my direction was. But that was a very interesting experience for me. I haven't been able to put that hat on in a long time, and now I really want to do it for like Jean-Luc and some of my old coworkers, maybe even like bring my mom behind the bar and have like a fake interview with her. But my favorite moments of that interview are the moments when you forgot that we were rolling.
Yeah.
For even sometimes it was like less than a second you would forget, and I would just ask you a question like, "What kind of beer do you drink, Dylan?" And you were like, "Juicy IPAs, mostly local." And that was probably my favorite line to edit for the entire thing. The rest of it was just like goofy stuff that was very canonically you.
Thank you. It was fun. It was really well done and well put together.
I am an animatronic. Oh, I am a Chuck E. Cheese robot.
I am a Chuck E. Cheese robot. I wonder if they're still doing that over there at that weird establishment. Did you ever go to Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, not a whole lot, ironically. I did want to go much more when I was a kid. But then I do now for obvious reasons. But
Right.
I guess it just always seemed like something that other kids were doing that I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
Because like my parents were like, no, we're not just gonna take you to Chuck E. Cheese. So unless it was for like someone's birthday, I never went. So I maybe have like 2 distinct memories of going there.
Same.
I don't really vividly remember the animatronic robots or anything like that, but
I do.
I just remember it being an arcade like Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. Ball pit always smelled like urine, is what I remember. If I'm being honest with you, as a distinct. You know what? I honestly feel like that's a universal ball pit smell. Is urine.
Most ball pits probably smell like urine.
Urine.
I would bet.
Like universally.
Universal.
Urine. Yeah, universally. There's a joint right up the street up here on Monroe Road. You remember? This is digging way in the crates. Did you remember Playberry? Okay.
No.
So all right. So landmarks. So on Monroe Road, when you're driving to East Mac before you cross the bridge and before you go to McAlpine Park, there's that gas station, that strip mall, and then across the street there are those office buildings.
Kind of.
If you know what I'm talking about.
What are the other offices that are in there? Is that like
Now?
there's an Inner Peaks in there? I think now.
Maybe.
There's a
Okay. So the side of the street where the Autobell is, there's several car shops, the gas station.
Yes.
There's that's it.
I think I know what side of the street you're talking about.
Okay, so not on that side of the street, but the other side.
Got it.
On the corner, there is a Chuck E. Cheese-esque establishment called Playberry. Guessing you didn't go there.
Nope.
You were
Sounds really sketchy though.
You were for sure living here.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It was no one sketchy. I mean, not any more than these, establishments run by rat bastards, so to speak.
Well, I moved here when I was 10.
It was 100% there.
Okay.
It was there. It was there for a good while too. I think I went there for my birthday 2-3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I think it was
21, 22, and 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few years
That's
ago.
what I would do.
Yeah. They didn't serve alcohol though, so it was kind of lame. So I would just,
Now that's why you BYOB. Your own bottle.
True. You know what's crazy? As much... Okay. This is going to sound weird. As much drinking as I do, I don't have a problem. But as frequently as I drink, I don't have a flask, and I've never had a flask. It's one of those things. It's one of those things I feel like I should invest in that I never have, and I always forget to.
I mean, I've had by virtue of I've never bought a flask, but by virtue of working in bars and things, liquor reps will come by, and sometimes they have like T-shirts or aprons or whatever for flasks,
Koozies.
So I've attained I think about 3 over my time bartending. I've never gone out and sought one out. No one has ever bought one for me as a gift. I've just acquired these by working in bars, and I've only really used them once. The flask that I brought to Colin's wedding. When I put I think I batched a Manhattan inside of it, and which ended up saving us a little bit of money. Colin, I'm sorry. I mean, nothing against you. The bartenders you had at your wedding were great.
However,
but I just, as a safety measure.
Yeah.
And I think what we ended up doing was pouring the Manhattan in the drinks that we paid for. So, everyone was taken care of. I'm not trying to take money out of anyone else's pocket.
Facts. Yeah, I feel like I should get one. I don't need one though.
But what are you gonna do with it? That was the thing, is I always thought I would want one, and then I got 3, and I'd never used them really.
That's true, and I'm also not gonna be watching the new Fast and Furious and you know what I could go for right now? Tequila,
Red Bull and vodka.
or that. I'm not, that's that's a little alarming.
I gotta go fast. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's... I also never know what I'm going to put in a flask either. I always think it should just be some hard liquor that you should be able to take a swig of, but I also want something that will taste good, but that means that you can't have... Well, I mean, you shouldn't have anything citrus-based in your flask because it'll mold and...
Yeah.
So you should have something that's like purely alcohol or just alcohol and sugar, like an old fashioned or a Manhattan or a martini.
I will say, something where it's definitely always appropriate and a good idea to have a flask on hand is anything rugby related.
Can't really argue with that.
Because just drinking culture, and drinking is so it's entrenched. It's like this with rugby. It really is.
I strongly agree.
And it's not really like that with any other sport that I'm aware of. Like they're like this.
Not the same way that it is with rugby. Like I would say you can drink while you play golf maybe.
Yeah.
But only because golf is like
it's not part of golf.
So
culture,
laid
though.
back, it's barely moving. It's so inactive, it's hardly a sport.
It's not part of golf culture though. Whereas drinking is part of golf culture.
Drinking is definitely a part of golf culture.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Granted, I don't know that much about golf and the golf culture for that matter, so I'm speaking out of school.
It's like a country club type thing. So like they're like most people who go out to play golf are also going out to have a drink.
Oh.
Most people who, and also you can't just go out and play rugby, right? Unless you're like a teenager or whatever, I guess. You can't just like go out to a field and be like, "Hey, so who all here's playing rugby then?"
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen. But you can go to a golf course. I was gonna say a pitch, but that felt wrong.
Driving range.
Yeah, you can go to a driving range, and they will almost certainly have a bar.
I didn't know that. I've never been to a golf club. I don't want to go to one.
Golf and horse racing, I think, are two sports that are, and calling horse racing a sport. Well,
it's a sport for the horse.
yeah. Well, so that's the difference. In horse racing, the athletes are almost definitely not drinking. But in golf, they probably are. Like you don't go to a horse track to ride a horse and go, "Hey, you know what I need before I hop on Old Nelly? Load me up." You're not really going to the bar trying to get absolutely blasted before you hop on the 2,000-pound beast of burden.
So are we talking about people who play golf for enjoyment or leisure, or are we also talking about professional golf players? Are you
It's leisure. I don't think professional rugby players are. Well,
yes, they are. Yeah, they are. You don't think the Ireland national team is getting ripped?
yeah, but then like, what is? Well, it's not unique to Ireland for sure.
Well,
I'd
right.
say the All Blacks are probably getting ripped too.
Of course.
But like,
all of the UK.
I don't think that's necessarily unique to rugby. Like that would be the same thing would be true for football in the UK.
Valid point.
I mean, there are definitely football players who are getting like, not trashed, but there are definitely football players who are having like a pint of Guinness or Stella or whatever before, or Magners before they get on the pitch.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it seems like to me it's most drinking culture and rugby culture are most associated with each other than drinking is with other sports. That's just what it seems like to me.
I would say it's one of those things that you don't see in other sports where drinking, to your point, just phrased differently, it's expected when you participate in the sport.
Right. That's
and the same thing is true with like several other sports. Rugby is unique insofar as if you're participating in the sport, you are on some level expected to socially lubricate one way or another.
I actively play rugby now. I 100% routinely, when I was able to play after practice, always after matches, go to the pub, go to the team pub, always. And
we didn't do that when we were in high school.
Sure didn't.
For obvious reasons.
Because we were not of legal drinking age in our country and or jurisdiction.
Well, but there was even still like food, like it's a communal thing. I think it's the idea that after a match everyone can come together and share something.
Yeah. And
I think originally, typically that means food, but eventually, obviously, as adults, that means a decent beverage, it's sharing a social lubricant.
Yeah. Yeah. Like after our games, we go out with. We go to the pub with the team that we played against.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. It's a great time.
Do you remember when we scammed the Canadian team out of their money when they came to. You weren't there for that. Well, no, you were certainly there. You just weren't sitting at our table. So Dylan and I played rugby together in high school.
I don't remember this at
And
all.
one year, we invited a Canadian team to come and stay with us to participate in a tournament that we were having. You do remember that, because we did that 2 separate years. And so when we invited them down, we invited their players to a school restaurant that we had, quote unquote. It was our we didn't have. We didn't have. We called it home ec, but what was?
I know what you're talking about. It's,
yeah, we had like a cook. We had a relatively prestigious culinary class program because we had Johnson and Wales here in the city in several locations.
Yeah.
And they're a prestigious culinary, university. So we had a mock restaurant on campus in our high school, and so we invited these Canadian players down, and we were like, oh man, it'd be great if we brought them to this Italian dinner at this restaurant. And so we got there, we sat down, rugby players are sitting with the Canadian players, and I think Joel was at my table, and maybe I don't want to use anyone's nicknames. We might have had some other people sitting at the table with us, and so the Canadian players were like, oh man, that's so good, so great, this isn't a real restaurant, like how do we pay? And so we, without thinking, look at the Canadian players and go, oh, the Canadian players are supposed to pay. And they're like, oh shit, we don't have how much is it, the whole thing? And we're like, it's free, but you're supposed to tip. And so they start leaving Canadian money on the table. And we were like, well, this is going to be... I felt like we would have been bigger assholes if we were like, no, we're messing with you guys. You can keep your money. So we left it there. So there were some high school kids back then that ended up with some Canadian money, and some Canadians back then that got definitely super taken advantage of. Not my proudest moment.
Do you remember how much, collectively they tipped?
Like 30 Canadian, whatever. So it's, I don't know, 2 squirrels and a Mountie, or something like that. I don't know how the exchange rate works.
Yeah, 2 squirrels and a Mountie.
It's something like it's one of those things where here that would get you a stick of gum, but in Canada that much money would get you a whole lot of ibuprofen.
Or this much maple syrup.
Flowerson, welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going?
It's like this much maple syrup.
2 ounces of maple syrup.
Yeah. That good. So I'm told. Yeah, I was not there for that. Damn it. Where's Adam Michelson when you need him to rehash this for us?
Adam would have... I think he was in the restaurant at that time. Because he was deep in the home ec program.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or I thought he was.
I'm definitely saying drinks are a social lubricant now. Yes, they are. That is the understatement of the century. Or actually ever.
Yeah, I mean, and to a certain extent, they should be seen that way. That's the distinction between drinking to feel drunk or be drunk, and drinking to enjoy drinking. And then there's being an alcoholic. If you're drinking to be drunk, then you accept that what you're doing is just accelerating your social lubricant, I think. And if you're drinking to enjoy drinking, that's different. Yeah. But if you're drinking and you're an alcoholic, then you completely skip the whole social lubricant phase, and you're just I'm trying to get obliterated.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't recommend.
No. I'm never trying to forget anything about it any given day.
Me neither.
And that's the worst thing when I wake up, and even if it's a 5-minute gap in time where I'm I don't remember.
It kind of just happens.
We had a conversation, probably, I guess. I don't remember talking about that at all.
It kind of just
happens. All sounds like things I would say, but...
It kind of just happens. I like the same... Well, not anymore. I don't drink or go out with the intent of getting drunk, but sometimes it kind of just happens. When was the last time you went to... I was about this recently. When was the last time... Since we're talking about alcohol, when was the last time you went to a really good party, like a house party? You know what? The last pretty damn good house party I went to was for Rosalie's birthday.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking about like my 21st birthday a long time ago.
Yo, that was a lit baby birthday party. I left here kind of a little saucy.
Good. Everyone did.
Okay, but
Which is good and bad. Don't drink and drive. But Hannah and I were taking care of everyone, monitoring everyone's intake, so everyone was safe. But yeah, that was actually really fun.
Yeah.
So Rosalie's my daughter, for everyone who, if you're new here. Rosalie is my daughter. She's just under 2 years old now. For her first birthday, we cleaned everything here, put away the cameras, put away the lights, stocked up the bar, because it was her first birthday. So for her, it's mostly about like, opening presents, and like, there's going to be 50 people who want to hold me all night until I pass out. And Rosalie passed out before anyone else, which is hilarious. But yeah, I was making drinks for everyone all night, doing different gimmicks, trying different stuff for people. I made mocktails for a couple of Hannah's siblings who weren't of legal drinking age. That was a fun night, all in all.
Yeah. Okay, but aside from that, when was the last time you went to like a pretty damn decent party?
Well, when my family was here for Christmas, we had a pretty decent. Several. When my family is here, those are always exceptional circumstances. So, like, I wouldn't say those are parties exactly. So the last party I went to would have been. It was like a TikTok get-together that I went to, but that wasn't necessarily great. It wasn't a good party. I definitely blacked out, though.
Well, there's that.
That was last year. But aside from that, no. I don't really go to parties very often.
Not me either. But it's one of those things I think would be, just because I haven't been to one in a while, it'd be fun to go to one.
Go to another party?
Yeah, just go to like someone I know have a pretty cool house party.
There are TikTok get-togethers that happen here in Charlotte. I have passed on a couple just because it's a conflict for me sometimes in timing, and it's like they're all like, and I'm only barely 30, but it's like a bunch of early 20-somethings typically who are like, hey, we have this really nice house that we're leasing. There's like 6 of us, and they invite like 200 people over to this house.
Oh no, yeah, yeah.
I could do that, but also I would feel drained very instantly.
Oh, yeah.
Going to something like that.
You're not barely 30. You're more 30 than I am, buddy. By 2 months. Remember we had this conversation on this stream about a month ago about our differences in age? For like an hour?
Vaguely.
Yeah. On this very platform.
Behind this very bar.
We were trying to figure out.
I think it was less that, because I knew that I was older than you. I didn't think it was such a small margin, though.
It's like a month and a half.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wait, then your birthday's in October?
No, you're a month and a half older. So if I was in October, then I'd be older.
No, then you're in February?
January.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, January 3rd. I'm a Capricorn.
It's 2 days after my grandmother's birthday.
Hey.
But I feel like I probably also said exactly that the last time we talked about this.
Probably. Shall we have a shot or a drink of sorts?
But if we're going to have another shot, I'm going to transition to just club soda.
You're going to have a shot of club soda?
No, I'm going to have a shot of hard liquor, but I'm going to drink club soda.
Gotcha. Oh, you picked this time.
Dylan and I could, with very strong potential that we could have a syndicated, sitcom.
Oh, that'd be lit.
Here we go.
Chemist.
This is a barrel-rested gin.
this named Syngroambi. Do you know any cocktails with peanut butter whiskey? I had some recently and it was great.
There's plenty of things you can do with peanut butter whiskey. I don't know of any canonical, like, classic cocktail that calls for it. You have your, like, peanut butter jelly shot, which is, like, peanut butter whiskey and Chambord. It's the most common thing that you see. Some people will do peanut butter whiskey and grenadine to do a peanut butter and jelly cocktail or peanut butter and jelly shooter. But the peanut butter is hard to work with for many reasons. But first, we're going to take this shot, and then I'll deep dive into this with you really quickly. Cheers.
Salud.
So, peanut butter has two unique flavor qualities that you don't get in your typical hard liquor for many reasons. Salinity, the saltiness of the peanuts, and you also have the oiliness from the peanut butter. The reason you don't see that a whole lot in distillates or any kind of alcoholic anything at all is because the fat content, the oiliness of that peanut butter, or peanuts in general, destroys the head retention and the flavor retention in your mash bill. I'm talking a little bit out the side of my mouth because I don't fully understand how this works because I haven't worked very deeply with it. But that's why you don't see things like peanut butter flavored beer or bacon flavored beer or anything like that. The fat content of those bases destroys the qualities of largely it destroys the qualities of those things that you would normally find desirable. So if you tried to do a bacon flavored beer or a peanut butter infused beer, you wouldn't be able to get any sort of foamy head on top of them. It would pretty much have to be flat unless you worked with a derivative where you did some sort of infusion or made some kind of shrub or syrup out of those things and removed the fat content out of them. The other thing is that salinity can destroy a lot of the nature of the things that you're working with too, because salt inhibits your body's ability to perceive bitter flavors. So if you're going to work with something peanut-based, I would say pair it with an Amaro. Use whatever your peanut flavored based thing is, and pair that with something like Chinar, Aperol, Campari, Averna, Fernet even. One of those bitter Amari, and that's how I would construct a balanced cocktail with that, if that makes sense. Hopefully that answers your question.
Are you familiar with the beer called Sweet Baby Jesus? It's a chocolate peanut butter porter. Actually pretty good. Like, I'm not a fan of, like, I don't particularly
That does sound really good, actually.
I don't particularly care for, like, call it dessert beers, I guess. That one is really good. It tastes like dessert. It tastes like chocolate peanut butter. It's pretty good.
That's our
It's pretty commonly available too. Like, it's not difficult to find.
second tier after we make our first Uber beer, because by the nature of how we want to make the beer itself, it does need to be a little bit light. We're using an IPA recipe because it has the most bittering stages that we can use to introduce other health benefits through uses of, like, hops and CBD flower and wormwood and stuff like that, in place of just using different kinds of hops in those different phases. It's going to be a whole other stage of experimentation, but when we're done with that, I do want to do an Uber beer project around a dark beer as well. Something that explores the balance between something really tannic like dark chocolate or coffee and something really creamy like peanut butter or cream or any number of different things.
Yeah, I could try doing like a coffee stout or something.
And I wouldn't make that hopped at all to begin with, because hops kill those flavors.
Yeah, it would be pointless.
Have you had a beer that has no hops in it at all? You maybe have. They taste like chocolate milk or like caramel syrup.
Is there any you can name off the top of your head?
Duck Rabbit milk stout.
Yes, yeah, I've had Duck Rabbit, yeah, which I like. It's pretty good. It's been a long time since I've had it, but I liked it.
Yeah, the Uber beer project goes long and deep. Because that's what my girlfriend asked for.
Hey now.
I mean, my fiance.
Hey now. Hey now. Hey ya.
Hey, yeah, yeah.
Do 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 do. Long and deep. Andre 3000 knew what he was talking about.
Somebody called Outkast a one-hit wonder on TikTok.
I'll fuck them up.
I was high-key upset.
I'll fuck them up. Give me their username. I'll harass them personally. Because I'm an outcast.
Oh, they got wrung out immediately after
Well-
they posted their video. Like, does anyone even know another song by them? Because they posted "Hey Ya," obviously.
So they were saying that was their one hit?
yeah,
That's hilarious.
that's not even their most popular song, I don't think. Most people don't.
You can make that argument.
Many people don't know that "Hey Ya" is sung by Outkast, but also Outkast is. They're very like fringe. They don't make music that sounds like anyone else's music at all.
No, not at all. Not after like their first.
If they were the most like anybody, I'd probably say the Black Eyed Peas, just because their production is very similar to will.i.am's.
Yeah, I can see that. There's this is something I'd like to do at some point. So, the production team that has produced Outkast's music since they came out, since the middle '90s, is called the Dungeon Family. It's 3 different producers, I think. But where the name comes from is I think it was one of the producers' like mother's or grandmother's home or something like that, and they set up shop. They set up their recording studio in the basement of the home, and they called it the dungeon because apparently at the time there weren't like any proper walls, so like there were like beams and some supports, but for all intents and purposes they were like surrounded by dirt.
Wow.
Which is where they came up with the name Dungeon Family. But so what's kind of cool is apparently Big Boy, he owns that home now, so maybe it was his mom's place or something like that. But you can rent out the dungeon on Airbnb now and go stay in it for like a decent price. Like it's not.
That's a whole other GoFundMe for another time.
I would love to do that, but it's like it's like a $90-$100 a night or something like that. Like
Oh, that's super affordable.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If we wanted to, what if we took like a week where
It's an
I would
hour,
document it, but like we would go with like you, me, Derek,
Yeah, Nate.
Well, I mean, my friend Drew, anyone that you know that produces music.
Oh yeah.
My friend Paul,
Yeah.
Drew's brother, who makes. If you've watched any of my videos on YouTube in the last year, Paul has made that music.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd be really curious to see if the dungeon part of the home is still the way it is. I would probably think not.
Oh god, I would tear all of like my laptop and my cameras and everything up. I would bring that with me. Where'd you say it was?
It's in Atlanta.
Oh, but then I'll just fucking pack all this up and
Or-
drive down there.
It might be like a suburb of Atlanta, like East Point or something like that. I think it's in East Point.
That's still not that bad.
No.
I would just pack all my stuff up.
Yeah.
Drive down there, set up in whatever remains of their studio setup. We'd figure it out, and I'm sure Derek probably has some recording stuff that he could bring with him.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on Airbnb right now. I'm curious. Outcast a one-hit wonder. How dare the nerve? I'm basically an Outcast stan, I ain't gonna lie.
How do I... Jacob, what is up? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. How do I get as big as Dylan? Wow. You are as big as Dylan, Jake. I'm kidding. I love you so much.
It's just the shirt. The shirt's too small. That's all it is. Wear shirts that are not your size.
Yeah. Just read his shirt. Gotta lift email.
Okay, so it is not 100 or 900. It is not $90 or $100 a night.
Oh no.
It is
$350 a night?
$404.
Ha! I knew it!
But so it's clearly been renovated. But I mean, still dope as fuck. I want to see the studio though.
They've got a pool table? How many bedrooms?
2.
4. It says 4 guests, 2 bedrooms.
2 bed, 1 bath.
Okay, but so like if you had 4 people, then
So I gotta guess this is the studio. so they've done something to it. There's wall. Thank God there's walls there now. But that's got to be the studio part. Yeah, that's got to be it. There's Big Boy himself, the legend. Damn, this place is nice.
It's still worth it to me.
Fuck yeah! I want to see what the availability is. There's no way there's any available dates for this forever.
It might also get cheaper, in the winter or something.
I'm going to check for availability on Halloween. Just randomly. Alright, went up to $500. That's not a good start. $475, okay. Oh, okay, it's available. So if you're trying to go on Halloween through November 5th, 475 bones a night.
Well,
is Big Boy's contact information listed on here as the seller?
Oh, I doubt it. No, he's definitely. Hopefully, they've got like a third-party.
That'd be crazy.
Person who's handling that stuff.
The dungeon. Oh, it's his son. Wait a minute. That's Big Boys are under 3,000 son.
I think there's definitely a chance so that we could just we could gain a lot of traction if we booked something like that for a week and we were like, guys, we're gonna go down there with 4 DSLR cameras. We're gonna record everything that we do. I would set it up where there would be slots in the recording space or what's left of the recording space because I'd imagine it's not fully functional anymore.
It's probably not a proper functioning studio anymore.
But even if I brought my XLR mic and some of my interfaces and stuff down there just to record what it looks like to be in that space and to record in that space, I think we'd get a lot of traction, especially for you and Derek, Drew and Paul, who are actually deep in the music space.
That'd be so dope. Just to be there, where all that.
I think Hannah would like it too, just to be there.
Yeah. I mean, so much incredible music. Also, not just Outkast, but another very influential group from Atlanta, Goody Mob. All their early music was recorded there as well. CeeLo Green that's his group.
Goody Mob?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's one of the original founding members. CeeLo.
And they recorded in the dungeon?
The dungeon family were their producers. There's 3 of them. I think that's something we should really seriously think about putting together. It's dope, man. It's a piece of history. It's a landmark to me. I love Outkast a lot. I love hip hop. Obviously, I love music. I mean, that's a music landmark as far as I'm concerned.
What month is it now?
April. Halfway through April. 420 blaze it tomorrow. Be safe. Be responsible.
Okay.
It's feasible. I mean, if we get enough people to go, if we're talking about $404 a night, split that up among 4 or 5 people, that's $100 a night. That's doable. That's affordable for everybody, I would think.
Well, I would think about what the overall cost of the whole thing is because, maybe you wouldn't have people who are oh yeah, I want to be in Atlanta for a whole week. Because $400 a night, it split amongst that many people is about 100 something. It's with food and stuff like that. It comes out to about probably $150 per night per person. So you've also got to find people who can afford to pay pay their share, but also who can afford to walk away from what they normally do to make money for that time. The cost of doing something like that is actually a little bit more.
You're right.
I can do it. And you can. I mean, we're lucky that we're where we are now. But
yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
My friend Drew might have trouble taking off a whole week to go down to Atlanta to not be at the bar doing what he normally does.
Fair enough.
I think we should do it anyway, though.
I would.
That's my 2 cents. I think we should still just do it. I think we should just think of the overall this is how long we want to spend here. These are our deliverables, which is a content thing that just means this is the stuff we want to plan to record, I would say it's probably going to be about 50 unique pieces of individual content that I would plan that stuff out for everyone. And then we just invite everyone down there and go like, hey, this is our overhead. We're coming down here for a week. It's going to be a total of like $3,500 probably for the entire week. And we bring a group of 7 people?
Ish. In a 2-bedroom place. Make that happen.
We can make it work.
Their floors and couches.
$3,500 might be high, but I mean, you could say like we'll go down there for 5 nights, $2,500.
Yeah. Split up and makes 5, 6, 7 people. Hey, I'm down. I'm trying to go at some point. Just saying.
I'm keen. I actually really like this idea.
Also, I've actually already been here, but I would like to go back. Another musical, a landmark or a place of attraction, anyways, is the Trap Museum. So what the Trap Museum is it documents and showcases the trap music that was born in Atlanta. So like it has recording plaques and like just various memorabilia from like T.I., from Gucci Mane, from Jeezy, from 3 6 Mafia, who I also love, big 3 6 Mafia fan. But like it's a bizarre place, but it's so cool. Like I think T.I. owns it, but there's a room where it's probably no bigger than where the TV starts to this wall right here. Mm-hmm. But there's different compartments where each different compartment has a piece of something showcased, and it's a bunch of just like random shit that T.I. owned or used when he was still, like dealing, like when he was still trapping. But like, one of the compartments is a Teflon vest that he was using like that back, like when he had to actually use it. There's guns that he owned.
You mean Kevlar?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
you said Teflon. Very different from Kevlar.
Sorry, it's Kevlar. Sorry, Kevlar. But there's like other slots with like guns that he owned, or they're probably replicas. There's a whole other room where there's a bunch of old mixtapes, like mixtapes that a lot of people probably wouldn't know unless you're into that, which I am. But like old like 3 6 Mafia mixtapes, like a lot of shit from Texas, just very rare stuff. It's very dope, very very dope. Highly recommend. Go
this
there.
is why I want Dylan on my travel show.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I would end up going somewhere that the producers would pick out, and they'd be like, no, trust us. You have to go to this weird, obscure place in Romania. And then I'd be like, really? What are we going to do there? And they'd be like, well, they've got some pretty awesome music.
Hey, man, if they got good music, I'll go.
And then I would geek out about the equipment they have, and then you would geek out about, like, their LPs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, wait, no, they've got stuff here that no one's listened to. No one's heard this in, like, 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, of course we're about to listen to this.
Yeah. That's exactly how that...
Anyone got a tape deck? Like,
yeah.
It would be that kind of show.
That's exactly how it was, though. And, like, this museum, that's probably... So that room, the mixtape room, was actually probably the size of this entire downstairs area. But, like, a bunch of plaques, like, mixtapes. We're talking, like, from the early 90s, mid 90s, like stuff from artists from Texas, Tennessee, like stuff you'd really like if you really weren't into that scene already, you would have never come across, if that makes sense. Like they're not ubiquitous projects, is what I'm saying, for the most part. Dope.
Jake asked, how is the beer coming? Well, we haven't begun brewing anything just yet, but today we were going to talk about how grain extraction works. So, what we're using for grain extraction for the Uber Beer project is a process called single-step infusion mashing. What that basically means is that we're raising our raw grains up to a certain temperature after they've been milled. We're raising those up to a certain temperature and holding them there until we have the starches and everything converted into sugars that the yeast can convert into alcohol and carbon dioxide. The reason we're using that process specifically is so that we have as much control over the temperatures, and as the temperature fluctuates, that doesn't become some other independent or dependent variable that we have to track on top of everything else that we're trying to test at the same time. We're trying to run all of the grains through exactly the same process as closely as we can. But today we're short on time. It happens. And the process, if we could do it right, exactly right, the first time would take somewhere between 3 and 4 hours for one grain. So I want to do a little bit more research, get everything more filed away in my brain, so to speak. I did manage to sanitize everything before we went live. That was another thing that we were going to do, but I did sanitize everything first. So the next live stream that we do like this will be a grain extraction, single-step infusion mash, where we will be using all of those, and it's going to be a very complicated setup. There's going to be something, the sparge tank is probably going to sit all the way up here, very, very high. Sparge tank or hot liquor tank, whatever you call it where you are. And then the mash tun will be here, and then we'll probably have, the boil kettle down here that we use to heat up our water. And we'll be using an induction, heat top for the kettle, and then we have an immersion circulator that we're going to be using for the sparge tank or the mash tun. I think we're probably going to end up using it for the mash tun to keep a consistent control over the temperature and timing of everything. But yeah, I need to look back over the numbers and make sure that we can find a way to do it consistently and equally across everything, so that we're not extracting one thing differently from something else, and because it's really meant to be a scientific experiment, and I don't want someone else to come in behind me and go, hey, all of your grains were extracted under different times or different temperatures or whatever. So we're trying to exercise as much control and consistency as we can. So yeah, that's where we are. But a couple of updates. Dylan has a video that we're going to post on the GoFundMe. It's up on our YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, I think, currently right now. But it's going to go up on the GoFundMe tomorrow, probably, if not tonight, when we're done with this. And then we're going to have other interviews like that one. The video is basically me interviewing Dylan.
It's a good time.
And there's going to be more of those, like me interviewing John-Luc, maybe me interviewing my mom or some of the other people who may be involved in the project one way or another. But yeah, that's where we are now. And I may need to get alpha amylase and beta amylase for the starch conversions for some of these things.
You want to hear a funny random story that I just thought of?
Yes.
So why I just thought of it is because you said the word sparge. So this is gonna go somewhere, I promise.
Okay.
Not gonna go very far, but it is going.
My
somewhere.
body is ready, Dylan.
It should be
Waiting.
So
What with anticipation?
that's what I'm talking about. So many years ago. When I make this connection, you're gonna be like, "What in the entire fuck?"
How did we get here?
So okay, so when you said sparge, I'm a child, and I immediately thought sparge R, like it has the R sound in it like a pirate makes.
Yeah.
So that's the premise. Okay.
Okay.
So this is probably about 10 years ago now. I was at the gym that is now no longer open, and there was a lady who had an eye patch on, as pirates have.
I'm with you.
It gets better. She was, I forget what piece of equipment she was, I forget what piece of equipment she was cleaning up. It's not important. But I came, because I was trying to use whatever it was, and I came up to her as she was wiping down the equipment, and I said, "Are you done with that?" And then she just kind of looked at me, like she didn't. I was trying to make a pirate joke because she had an eye patch on. I don't know if I'm gonna assume she was not in character for anything. She probably had
You're gonna assume she was not in character?
She probably had a malady of some sort. So that was the story. That was the whole story.
My jaw hurts.
True story. True story, guys.
So when I was a full-time bartender, I constantly got tennis elbow in both my elbows because I would shake 2 cocktails at once.
What is that, like tendonitis or something?
Yeah, pretty much. It's tendonitis in both elbows. And what it does is it kind of prevents you from being able to grab something and, like, work it, kind of. So, like, curling dumbbells becomes harder, shaking cocktails becomes harder. And so I began wearing compression wraps to work. And people would constantly point them out and go, you know, oh, are you just doing that to be cool? And then I'd have to tell them, like, I need this for a medical thing happening to me because I'm here to make your drinks. So I identify with that on some level, but I never wore an eye patch in public when I could help it, so that's that.
You know, an eye patch is just kind of one of those. It's an outdated piece of fashion as well as an outdated medical pseudo device, if you will.
Did you know pirates also didn't wear eye patches because they couldn't see? They wore eye patches to accustom one of their eyes to see in the dark. So while they were above decks, while the sun was out, they would have their eye patch down so they could see everything, and when they went below decks, where it was dark, they would move their eye patch to the other eye, where their former eye was adjusted to dark vision so they could see below decks.
That seems a lot smarter than I would take the general pirate to be. I would think you would... I mean, if I would have thought of another reason, I would think... Again, I'm a child. I would think that you would cover your non-telescope eye with the eye patch. So your non-eye patch eye is trained for telescope use. That's my initial thought. I'm 30. Guys and gals. Z's and Zers. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Good. Move your eye patch back over.
Because if you're working with a one-eye telescope, you don't need the other one. So, like, you're getting...
A one-eyed telescope? As opposed to the two-eyed telescope, which many of you probably know as...
binoculars.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
So that's where I'm at with it.
Day vision telescope engage. I don't know why I'm making that sound effect.
If that's true, that's kind of amazing. My first thought was went to the Thank you. See, it's not just me. Thank you.
You do have a dominant eye, to be fair. What's your dominant eye, Dylan?
Right.
Mine's my left.
My left side of my body's practically useless, I feel like. Can't do shit with my left hand. Left eye it's not bad, but it's not ideal. Got a fucked up leg currently.
I mean, I don't really know how I ended up here, but my left eye I find to be the one that I look through by default most of the time. So like if I cover up my right eye, it doesn't bother me. We'll segue gently. Can you close one eye and operate the other one?
You mean like close one eye and move the other eye around?
Yeah.
I guess I'd say
Doesn't seem
That's
right
better than... Okay, so we're gonna go to camera one for this.
So do your hand in different directions. And track my eye. Is my eye moving?
I'm looking at your eye on the monitor over there.
I'm not moving my head, I'm just moving my eye.
Yeah, that's much better than what I can do. Okay, so I can close my right eye and operate my left eye just fine. Without moving my head. But if I close my left eye and try and track with my right eye, it's very different. So if I close my left eye, my right eye,
It's barely open.
yeah, I can only track like this tiny space here. That's it. Yeah, my right eye is barely open. So I can wink my right eye just fine and look around with my left eye. I can't do that with my left eye.
Well, you know
The more you know.
You know what that would have been good for? Wearing an eye patch and using a telescope on that one good eye. You know what I'm saying?
Flip the whole bar. Well, you know what that would have been good for.
One eye
Damn it,
telescope.
Dylan! What 30-year-old men do behind the bar? Hey, you know what? You're right. Camera 2. Here. Her. Wait, there we go. That's as far as I thought that out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're 30, and we're goofy. So what? What of it? I wouldn't say R to a woman with an eye patch at the gym now. Oh, that was club soda too. I know that didn't feel good in the nose.
No. Now.
I would definitely think about it. I would 100% think about it. Because that's just where my brain goes to.
Because you didn't think about it the first time you did it?
I mean, I guess I did, but I guess just instinctively I just blurted it out. Like I didn't think of the repercussions of me saying this to someone who might have a messed up eye.
You know another thing that I think it would be really funny for us to do? A Spartan race.
That would be something else.
John Luke's done one.
It's like a obstacle
Have you
course,
done
basically.
one before?
No.
Okay. So John Luke's the only one amongst us who has done one of these before. I was there to watch him do it. I'm not downplaying it. It is hard. It is very hard, but I do think it would be really fun to get a bunch of people like you, me, John Luke, Dylan, Colin, and just like try and go do a Spartan race together. And John Luke was, to his credit, he was slowing down for the people he was running with. And if you ran with my brother, then
Good on
you're
you.
welcome, I guess. I don't know.
Good on you.
He was definitely slowing down for you.
It's basically like an obstacle course, right?
Yes. So the course changes, I believe, each time, but there's a little bit of endurance, like running from point to point, but it is mostly about the different obstacles that they have for you, whether it's like running through, freezing mud or climbing a rope. John Luke finished it in about an hour and a half, if I recall correctly. But it can be done in under an hour.
And how many different segments are there to the whole thing? Obstacles.
12, I think. None of them are like Sisyphean. Like none of them are so awful that they ruin the whole race for you.
Okay.
Or they didn't appear to be anyway. Like the last thing you have to do is jump over a fire, which is like some logs that are barely burning that are like
That's
down
nothing.
here.
That's nothing.
And you can walk around the obstacles and stuff if you want.
Yeah, I'd be down. Once I get my leg working back properly, eventually, I'd be down.
You can go on my back, Dylan. It's okay. I got you.
Yeah, that wild.
We can do this.
Yeah, if we did that, you would.
You can even
you'd be out
ride
of-
me as I am in the ambulance on my way to the hospital.
Yeah, I was about to say you'd be out of commission for a good
Yes,
while.
definitely, for sure.
To be your workout for the rest of the next 5 years, probably.
They got me to the hospital. His BAC is 0.2. He's also got 2 broken legs, so that's...
Ramp it up, speed it up, pick it up.
Let's go. And someone get Dylan off of him.
That poor soul. Yeah, I'd be down. It'd be a different physical challenge than what I'm used to. I'm not opposed to it. I would have
Next year.
How do you train for something like that, though?
I don't think you necessarily need to. It's not like an overtly competitive thing, which is something I mistook when I got there, because I thought it was like a race.
Did you do it? You didn't do it. You just
No,
watched.
no, absolutely not. But when we got there, I thought it was like a marathon or like an actual race where there's first place, second place, third place, and everything else or whatever. But no, it's just an event. I don't mean to be diminutive. It's not just an event, but it's an event before it is anything else. Everyone is allowed to participate. No one seems to enjoy it more than anyone else. It's just a fun thing that you can do.
It's like a 5K.
Like, I could have done it when Jean-Luc was doing it with his friends, but the way I would have done it would have been different. I would have walked the course and skipped the stuff that was too difficult for me. That's how I'm wired. Jean-Luc's not wired like that. Jean-Luc sped through as much as he could. If he needed to wait for somebody in his team, he would just do the same events again and again and again until they got there. That's the way Jean-Luc's wired. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, he is the Energizer Bunny of the two of us.
Yeah, seriously. What were the sketchiest ones? Like the sketchiest obstacles, or if there were any?
No, none. Really, well, besides having to trudge through the mud because it was 50-degree weather.
That's not.
It's just cold mud. That's it. And Jean-Luc wasn't even necessarily really dirty when he came all the way back around. But then you have to hose yourself off when you're done with ice cold water. So that's also super duper fun. I don't think I would mind that though so much after going through so much.
Yeah.
I would just want to take a long hard nap afterwards. I'd be like, guys, let's eat some thick brisket or something. And then I'm just gonna pass out in my car.
That sounds. Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'll do it. I'm not opposed to it at all.
Next time.
Now, when
on
you
the
say
next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
When you say rope climb, like the shit you did in gym class, where you
hand over fist, just straight up.
That might be a difficult one for me because of my shoulders, but I'd try at least.
You can do it. We do it as a team.
How tall is the rope, or how high up rather?
10, 15 feet. It's not that bad.
It's
It's not like a gym class rope where it's 30 feet up in the air at the top of an auditorium or whatever.
Okay. I might be able to do decent at that. I will say though, I don't see many people built like shit brick houses doing Spartan races.
That's fair, but I mean, you're not built like a shit brick house.
I'm built like a small shit brick house.
Turd house.
An outhouse.
Okay, yeah. Why you say that then? Next. I'm built like a small shit brick house. Like a turd house? No, like an outhouse. Now I'm the asshole. We've got a little bit of time. Did you want to take another shot?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, this one. Shot or a drink, a cocktail. Let's do it. Do a shot. Make it easy on you.
Taking a shot.
Might as well finish on a strong note. Yep. Sorry, buddy.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Then this is all that I'm drinking then until I get back home. Be gentle, sweet angel. That's yours.
Yeah, it was a little. That was a house pour, as they say.
Yeah. Not a GBP?
GBP?
Yeah.
What's that?
Gay bar pour.
What's a gay bar pour? Or is that what that is?
It's where you pour a little bit more.
Why?
Yeah, just in case you're...
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yep.
Well, alright, and yep, GBPs. Hey, cheers, GBPs.
Cheers. His words, not mine.
God damn, this is was too much. Wow. Every time is like the first time.
Last time I heard that, I was naked. That joke's funnier when I'm not struggling to breathe.
Good lord. That's some...
It's like drowning in a candy factory.
It's drowning in a...
Man, fuck abs. Lilith, thank you for tuning in. Showing up in chat. I appreciate it. Yes, I echo your sentiments.
Is there anything to the, I think this is not real, or mostly not real, but is there anything to, absinthe being, like, particularly psychoactive?
Oh, no.
didn't think
Very
so.
little. Like, a very, very little bit. So, that comes from two main things that happened historically. Predominantly, or mainly, I should say, absinthe was gaining a whole lot of popularity. I can't remember the year specifically, but... 40s or whatever. It was gaining a lot of popularity before that, actually, even. And the producers of gin, people who were... And at this time, gin just meant that you were infusing very strong vodka with flavors that you thought were appealing, particularly gentian root. Or not gentian root. You were just... Juniper berries.
Yeah.
That was the main thing.
Yeah.
So you were taking this, like, very strong moonshine, or vodka, or whatever you wanted to call it, to skirt the law or whatever. You were infusing it with these botanical components, and then absinthe came along. That was like, hey, you know gin? We are gin's, like, bigger, badder brother.
Yes, it is.
With results. So gin companies started trying to figure out how to destabilize absinthe as it became so popular. Absinthe actually became so popular that there was like tea time for absinthe. Tea time, by the way, if you guys are unaware, is still a tradition observed today. There was a time in history where drinking absinthe was observed with the same kind of reverence. That was the green hour.
Huh.
That's what they called it instead of tea time, obviously.
Was there a dedicated time?
Yes.
What was the
Specifically to... so tea time is 2 to 4, I think, typically. So your green hour, I think, was 4 and 5 or something like that. I don't remember specifically.
And then happy hour.
Yeah. Well, that was the beginnings of happy hour, really.
Yeah.
It was the green hour. And so gin companies were like, oh, wait, hold on. There are people who used to drink gin who are now drinking absinthe because it's more fun. And so they trumped up a few things to combat this. The main one that most people are aware of is this whole case against wormwood being a psychoactive hallucinatory compound, which is true, but only in extreme concentrations. The concentration that they tested to prove this hypothesis in their original study is barely produced any results and would have been enough to kill several people.
Jesus.
If they had tried to, if one person would have tried to drink that much absinthe to get those same results, they would have died of alcohol poisoning. So what they tested instead was a concentrate of the wormwood compound, which of course, it's like, you know, if you have tried CBD and you do full spectrum CBD and it's, you know, you do however many milligrams or whatever, you're gonna feel something. It's not gonna feel legal for sure.
Same with Delta 8.
Oh yes.
Delta 9, which is a thing. Delta 10.
So because of that, they built up this case that, you know, absinthe was this psychoactive liquid. The next thing that happened was there was I think it was a string of murders, but one man committed murder and he blamed the absinthe that he had been drinking for I can't remember his exact phrasing, but it was something like, oh, you know, I just wasn't myself because I was drinking absinthe. I was in a psychotic state or something like that. And those two things, just those two, like one really poorly conducted scientific study and one legal case that had very little, if any, physical evidence caused absinthe to be completely banned and outlawed in so many places around the world for decades, until relatively recently.
That sounds eerily similar to the history of cannabis in this country. In terms
Yeah, but you could drink yourself to death drinking enough absinthe to have the psychoactive effects of wormwood.
Right. Sorry. I just meant it in the terms of it's like prohibition efforts.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm not talking about the effects of it really. Do you know this? Do you kind of know the general story about why weed has been bastardized in this country, especially, or like kind of the crux of it, anyways?
Not particularly, but I feel like if you start talking about it, I will remember.
All right, so we're giving each other history lessons. So here we go. So, the William Randolph Hearst, who I'm sure you at least know the name.
Yeah.
So, arguably, America's original media tycoon, or for sure one of the first.
Yeah, he's the basis of Citizen Kane.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So, his war on cannabis was twofold. There was at the time, different paper manufacturers basically were finding out that I think hemp is the male cannabis plant. At the time, paper manufacturers were learning that, hey, not hemp, you can do so many things with hemp, but one thing you can do with hemp is make paper. William Randolph Hearst, fearing this, basically took issue with the fact that hemp could effectively put him out of business because he was using standard paper.
It was also zero ecological impact.
Right.
If you turned hemp into paper, you wouldn't have nearly as much of the chemical byproduct and waste that you have producing paper that we do here, at least now in the U.S.
Correct. And aside from that, he was a very well-known racist, shocker, for that time. Shocker.
Anyone who's well-known in that time was probably technically a well-known racist.
Yeah. And the term itself, I'm almost positive he did not coin the term, but he popularized the term, was responsible for popularizing the term in the United States, marijuana. And marijuana was, the term marijuana was associated with the influx of Mexican immigrants after the Mexican-American War, which was in 1910, I think, or 1909, 1908, something like that. So, the term marijuana itself originally is basically a pejorative / racialized term associated with...
It's a racially charged term.
With immigrants,
yeah.
Basically. He also authored the original name of the bill is not coming to me. It's the something Tax Act, but it would later become the Controlled Substance Act, which is kind of the crux of the war on drugs, as it were.
In point of fact, we only call it marijuana here in the U.S.
Yeah, right.
Look that up. Everywhere else in the world, it's just called weed.
Yeah, right.
Or cannabis.
It's an archaic thing that we still do. And that's a 420 lesson for you guys, since 420 is tomorrow. It's a very pertinent topic. So
yes, we're always topical here.
Yes, we are. So basically what I'm saying is fuck William Randolph Hearst. And, Rosebud. Yeah. I think it would be nice to see, maybe in future years, 420 become a day or like a vehicle for expunging cannabis convictions, most especially for people of color who it obviously disproportionately affects. Obviously, that's not news to anybody.
One of the things I hate is that, like, when I see politicians who proselytize the fact that like, oh, you know, we decriminalized cannabis, and it's always some like white male guy, white male cisgendered guy, and then it's like, cool, let me look up really quickly how many people you have imprisoned for possession of cannabis really quickly, and it's always like
Staggering amounts.
yeah, it's
Always. Joe Biden. I mean, if
not even a drop in the bucket, but the thing is like people are appropriating that line of
yeah,
activism. It feels like, I don't know, it just feels dirty, it feels wrong, it's
yeah,
gross.
I mean, the two of the biggest people that a lot of people would know by name who have done that over the past 20, 30 years is our current president, Bill Clinton. Very big proponents of this thing. The GOP presidents, that's a non-starter, of course.
A lot of my coworkers celebrate 420 every day, though.
As they should.
You know, every day until they see us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's how representation works.
facts. So yeah, I think that'd be a nice thing for. It probably won't happen, or not for a while, anyways. But I think that's what. If it's gonna do some good, or if it's gonna continue to be a thing, it would be cool to see someone, you know, lawmakers or policymakers, do that.
Actually tackle it, take it seriously.
Yeah.
Well, guys, with that's all the time that we had for today. We're coming up on 9 o'clock, and
God,
I wanted to.
This is a great stream, God. We dropped some knowledge. God, this is
why I like having Dylan on stream.
This is one for the books.
He makes me think the way I'm not used to, like, all thoughts that I have all the time. I just forget to, you know, talk about them all the time.
This is one for the books. They all are, but this one was for the books.
Yeah, but also no one write down anything we said. Okay?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing we said
Let it
can
be.
or will be used against us in a court of law. But thank you all for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. I do appreciate it. Dylan, thank you for being here. The next live stream is going to be, today is Tuesday? So the next live stream is going to be tomorrow. Same time, different place. I'm going to be gaming. I won't be able to make it here to the bar. But I do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. Thanks for all of your help and support. Hopefully we have been helpful and supportive for you all as well. That's why we do everything that we do here. And until next time, thank you all for tuning in, sticking around. Be good, be kind, be helpful. Hold on, we've got something from Barca 916.
I was only here for the last 20
minutes, but I learned
so
so much. Oh, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it.
much. Thank you.
Thank you for sticking around, showing up.
We do a lot of
Tuning in.
bullshitting, but we also we have some brains on us.
Yeah,
thank you.
we definitely bullshit really hard, but we try and make sure that there's something that you can take away. We're not just trying to waste everyone's time. Thank you guys for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. Thanks for all your help
Thank
and
you.
support. Until the next live stream, be good, be kind, be helpful, and hopefully we'll see you guys next time. Till then, take care.
Peace.